What salary do you need to make in order to buy a house in Murphy, Texas? That is the mission that we're on today. We're going to look at 3 different price points. I'm going to give you 3 different income levels you're going to need in order to purchase a house in Murphy. So that's exactly what we're doing today. So with that being said, let's see the homes that are available for sale right now in Murphy, Texas, and start doing some math. So again, what's the salary? What's the income? How much do we need to make in order to buy a house in Murphy? So right out of the gate, let's check out some properties. We have 68 properties available for sale in Murphy right now at the time of this recording, and we're looking at $659,000 as the average price point. So what we're going to do is we're going to isolate the single family residences, and we're going to hit search. So again, we only care about Murphy, and we only care about single family residences. With our breakdown, the way that we do them as we explore the salary that we need in order to buy a house in Murphy, we can keep it very simple. I'm going to give you 3 distinct price points to look at. So the first price point that we're going to look at is what's the least expensive option for sale right now. And as you're going to notice is the least expensive home for sale in Murphy at the present moment is $439,000. So unless you have at least a $439,000 approval in hand, it's going to be challenging for you to live in Murphy, as you can see. So we're going to use this as our first entry point. We're going to use this as our first price amount that we need to calculate towards. So we're going to scroll through here so you get to see the type of real estate available in Murphy, and you're going to notice one common theme. It's incredible real estate. It's an incredible place to live. It's one of my favorite cities to visit. It's one of my favorite cities to sell in because every single home just seems to be extremely massive, extremely huge, and incredible. And I would argue it was the most underpriced city about 6 years ago. It's not the case any longer, but about 6 to 8 years ago, I argue it was the most underpriced city because every single home seemed to be over like 2,500 square feet. And it was like dirt cheap at that time. No longer the case. It's caught up. A lot of people, the secret's out now, but still some massive homes, like incredible homes. Which right now it's competitively priced for what it is, for what you're getting from the area that you're in. But at the same time, back then I do think it was wildly underpriced. Not so much anymore. So we have 51 properties available for sale right now. So that means that we have about 2020. This would be the average price point that we would need to calculate for. It would be about, let's call it $729,000. We'll call it $729,000. We're going to make that calculation of how much we need to make in order to buy that house, this house right here. So we're going to continue scrolling through, and then we're going to get to the luxury. I'm going to show you some beautiful homes that are available for sale right now. And as you can see, they do not disappoint. The most expensive home for sale in the city of Murphy right now is $1.3 million. So if you're looking to get into the luxury space in Murphy, you're looking at about $1 million and a quarter in order to make this a reality for you. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to get it, since we're in the luxury space at the moment, what we're going to do is we're going to dial it back just slightly. Actually, no, let's go into this number. Let's use the $1.2 million. These are the 3 price points that we're going to calculate. So again, the goal here is to find out how much we need to make, how much we need to earn in order to buy a home in these cities. A home in these 3 different price points in the city of Murphy. So let's continue. Let's keep going. All right. So let's talk about down payment for a quick second. When you buy a property, you're most likely going to get a loan most often. And there's different types of loans out there. There's conventional loans, FHA loan, jumbo loans, which is what would actually be required in the luxury space here for one of these products here. One of these homes with $1.25 million, because it's just a large amount. There's certain limits that, as an example, a conventional loan or FHA loan might not be able to meet. So there's different loan types is what I'm getting at. With that being said, each one of them is going to require a different down payment. Some of them are going to be zero down, like FHA or USDA loans. Some of them are going to have a minimum down payment of 3% if you're conventional, 3.5% if you're FHA. There's different types of down payments available for you. So that's one thing I want to call out. The second thing I want to call out is, as an example with FHA and VA, which are the 2 most common types of loans, if we don't put at least 20% down in that purchase of the home, we're paying what's called mortgage insurance. Now, what is mortgage insurance? Mortgage insurance is an insurance that the lender puts on you, the borrower, in the event that you default. Rephrase that. They put it on you, and to protect themselves against in the event that you default. And in the event that you default, not only are they taking their property back, but they are also have a policy for just this case. If you default, to where they're not losing as much in them buying this house with you. So that's what the mortgage insurance is, and you get to pay a higher premium. You get to pay an additional percentage for that luxury. So in other words, somebody takes out an insurance policy on you, and you're paying for that insurance policy. Is what's happening. That's what happens if you put less than 20% down on the purchase of your home. Now, when we'll keep going. And then I'll share the last part that I want to cover there. But for our purposes today, we're going to do and simulate a 5% down payment for the purchase of this home. So again, we have 3 homes that we're trying to buy at 3 different price points in the city of Murphy, and we're going to put 5% down on all 3. Interest rate right now, the best thing to do is going to go, depending on, regardless of when you're watching this video, you're going to go over to what is the interest rate right now to buy a house, and go to bank rate, or type in something similar to that. So as you can see right now, at the time of this recording, the average 30-year fixed mortgage is 6.28%. So it's 6.28%. All right. So how long is your mortgage? We're going to go with 30 years. Property taxes. Property taxes are something that I really like sharing information on, because there's not enough information on property taxes themselves. So first thing to understand about property taxes is that you're paying them. That's the first thing to understand, given that when you're buying a property, you're paying property taxes on that. It's a little bit different mind shift if you've been renting for quite a while. Property taxes may be new to you. The second thing to understand about property taxes, in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, the average property tax rate, so essentially how much you're going to be paying in property taxes, or the percentage that's going to be used to assess how much you're going to be paying, is about 1.8% to about 3% in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. That's the range that you can expect here in the Metroplex. The third thing to understand about property taxes here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex is that it's not one single number. It's up to 5 numbers in most cities. The city tax rate, the county tax rate, the ISD tax rate, those 3 numbers you have to find come heck or high water, because they exist in every single city that we're talking about. City, county, ISD. The other 2 tax rates that often come up are the higher education tax and the hospital network tax. So again, the 3 numbers that we need to find come heck or high water: city, county, ISD. And then the other 2 numbers that often come up are going to be your higher education, so think of community college, and your hospital network. So think of, if you're in Dallas as an example, think Parkland Hospital Network. Those are 5 numbers that we most likely will be finding throughout every city in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, but that's not always the case. So again, the first 3, for sure you're going to find them. The other 2, we're not sure. So we got to do some digging around real quick. So we're going to go with Murphy, Texas property tax rate. We're going to go straight to their website to see if they give us that information. And they do not. They do not give us the information. Now, they'll give us one of those numbers, but remember, we need more than that. This is just the city tax rate. We still need the county, we still need the ISD, and potentially higher education and hospital network. So we're going to continue. And because they don't give us that information, as I'm already seeing right now, we're going to go to the next best thing, which is going to be to their county website. So here we're going to go into the county. Well, let's see if their calculator would have it. Let's go to their county real quick. So this is the Collin County tax estimator. So we're going to go with Collin County. That's the county that we're in with Murphy. We're going to go find Murphy real quick. Am I missing it? There we go. Murphy City. School. We're going to see. Oops. It's an example. Let's buy this house right here. We're going to click on this. because sometimes we're going to run into different ISD. So let's just find what ISD we're talking about. Let's use Plano ISD for our particular purposes today. And then the water district, we're not going to worry about that one here. We're going to go with Collin County College. I'm going to say that the property value is 100K. Calculate. Now in this particular case, we have the city, the county, the ISD, and the Collin County, so higher education. We don't have a hospital network one. So we could, just for the sake of the, just for being sure, if you will, the water district does sometimes come up, but in this particular case, I don't believe it's going to affect us. But even if it did, if we did have to pay a water district tax, let's just pay Collin County. I want you to see what this is actually going to rise it up slightly, quite a bit actually, but 1.716, what that's going to translate to, it's going to go to, yeah, quite a bit more. So I don't believe in this particular case it's going to be applicable, the water district. I could be wrong, but I don't believe that to be the case. So our property tax rate for Murphy most likely is going to be 1.1, hopefully you can see that, 1.17, let's call it 2. So we're going to go with 172. So 1.7, what did I just say? I think I'm seeing something and I'm saying something different. 1.72, 1.72. So 1.72. So 172. Our property tax rate is going to be that. Home insurance. So home insurance is basically an estimate here that we're going to be doing for this particular breakdown. So how we estimate home insurance is we keep it pretty simple. We just multiply 0.75%. So this is a percentage point right here. So this is 0.75% times the value of the home. So in this particular case, it's going to be multiplied against these numbers. Mortgage insurance rate. So the mortgage insurance, remember, since we didn't put 20% down in the purchase of this home, we're paying mortgage insurance. Now, if we get a conventional loan, once we continue making payments and we surpass the 20% down, meaning we own over 20% of the home, then the mortgage insurance goes away. From an FHA loan, which is a different type of loan, if we get an FHA loan, the mortgage insurance, the amount that we're paying, does not go away. It stays there forever until the loan is satisfied. So just know those two key differences. For our analysis, we're going to stay with conventional for our purposes today, and also we're going to say it's good credit. HOA fees. HOA fees are going to be a way of life, especially in Murphy, because Murphy, for all intents and purposes, it's relatively a new city. A lot of the construction happened in the early 2000s. Like a ton of the new construction happened in the early 2000s. So here HOAs, basically right now at this point in time, 85% plus of the homes that are built new go straight into HOAs. So I feel very confident putting an amount, at least to budget that into our yearly HOA fee estimates, regardless of the home that we buy. All right, so this is our current scenario. Again, now we know the prices that we're looking for. There's 3 prices that we're trying to get into for the Murphy area. And now we know the market conditions that exist in the real estate market, the loan market, and also the city that we're going to buy in. So for our purposes today, now what we're going to do is we're going to put what we bring to the table. So our income and our debts. So for us to get qualified, we're going to say right now, our first guess is going to be, let's say we make $100,000. How much can we afford with that? Now, before we actually click through to the next tab where it does the calculation for us, what we're going to do is we're going to add any debt that we have. Now, what is debt? Debt is student loans, car loans, child support, credit cards. That is debt that you bring to the table. We need to call that out here. So this is where you would put the name of the debt and then also the minimum amount that you have that you're making payments on. Right now, what is not debt is the expenses. This means utilities, phone bill, gas, food, things that are expenses. You don't need to add them. They're already included in the calculation that the lenders use, which is the debt to income ratio. So there's a certain amount that they have already allocated towards your day-to-day expenses to live, and there's a certain, so they leave the ratio, the debt to income ratio, for everything else that it goes beyond living. So here you would add your debt and also the minimum monthly payment that you're making on that. Now this calculator is available to you. It is linked down below in the description, or you can go to winthehouseyoulove.com and grab that from there as well. But all you have to do is, once you get it, is make a copy right here and it's yours. So don't try to edit this particular one because it's not going to work. So you're going to need to make a copy and it's yours. Now, if you have a co-borrower, you're going to add them here, and then also add any debt that you might have at the moment. But here again, if you have another co-borrower, a spouse, a friend, whatever, add them here. Now, for our purposes today, we've created the scenario that we're going to run our numbers against. Now, what we're going to find is how much home we can actually afford with these market conditions and what we bring to the table. So the max price, the most that we can afford with our income and our level of debt and the property taxes and everything in between, is $450,000. So a home, we are able to qualify up to $450,000, which does satisfy the least expensive home. But with that being said, here's the thing. I don't encourage you, simply because you can get up to this amount, I don't encourage you to do that. Whenever we coach our clients, whenever we speak and do the breakdown with our clients, we do not advise you to take out 61% of your net income to be paid towards your mortgage. That's too much for our blood. That's too risky. Technically, could you get approved? Yeah, you could. Should you? Probably not. Even on the aggressive scale, we don't encourage you to borrow up to your aggressive limits here. So that would mean about 56% of your loan. I'm sorry, 59% of your net income going towards your housing expense. We also don't encourage that. Whenever we do our breakdown, we like to have the price that we're trying to meet, so $439,000. We try to put it between the moderate and the aggressive loan, which technically it is in between these two, but we like to balance them out. So we like it to be somewhere towards the middle. So what we're going to do is we're going to say we make $110,000. And that'll put us a little bit closer, actually right smack in the middle between the moderate and the aggressive. So here, the $439,000 is going to fit right in the between the moderate loan and the aggressive loan. So this is where we want to be, right? So again, for you, once you get it, all you have to do is go to File, make a copy, and it's yours. So for our purposes today, we're going to say that we're good to go. We have $110,000 right here. That's how much we would need to make in order to buy this house at the present moment. All right, so now let's go to the next one. Remember, we were doing the breakdown based off of multiple homes, the least expensive home in Murphy, the average price point in Murphy, and the most expensive home in Murphy. So we got to go to the next one. So for the next one, what we're going to do is we're going to give ourselves a raise instantaneously. Lucky us. And we're going to say we make $220,000 to see how much we can afford. So here we're going to, what do we need to get to? 729. So that's a little bit more than we need. So we can say, hey, we don't need that much money right now. Let's say we make $200,000. That's less. No, wait, 730. 730. Yeah, that actually meets it. But let's go to $195, 40. Sorry, I'm just going through some numbers real quick. So we got to get this 730, and this 730 is relatively, give or take, towards the middle between the moderate and the aggressive loan. So that 730 is between the moderate loan and the aggressive loan. So I feel comfortable saying that if you make $190,000, you're going to be able to afford this home in Murphy with the 5% down, with this interest rate, and the rest of the scenario that we planted out. Let's continue. So 1.2, this is where it gets a little bit wonky because now we're talking more about jumbo loans, but we're going to do this regardless. So what we're going to do now is we're going to give ourselves another raise and effort of trying to get to $1.2 million for us to be able to qualify for that. So what we're going to say is, what if we make $250,000? It's still, that's the most that we can afford right now, so that's not going to work for us. Let's just say we make $275,000. It's still on the higher end here, so we would need to make, let's say, $300,000. 1.25, and it puts us, 1.25 would put us right in between these two numbers. Maybe not exactly in between, it's actually more towards the aggressive side, but it is putting us between the moderate and the aggressive loan. So we would be able to qualify for this loan with the $300,000 salary income, and we would be able to buy this house. So if you're going to buy a house in Murphy for the least expensive price right now, you're looking at making $110,000. The median price, you're looking at $190,000 in income, and the most expensive in the luxury space for Murphy, you're looking at $300,000. Now, let's talk about payments for a quick second. Let me dial this back just slightly to talk about some payment options here. Let's say you're going to buy a house, whatever house that is, at an average price of about $688,000. This was the price of your home that you're looking to buy in Murphy. If you're going to buy that house, you're going to need about 5% down. Well, you can put whatever down payment you want as long as you hit the minimums, but you're paying about $34,000 in down payment, and your estimated closing cost is going to be this amount. So if you add these two together, these are going to be the numbers, the amount that you would need at closing. So that means $52,000 or so, give or take. At closing is what's required for you once you're buying this house. Now your monthly payment is going to be roughly $5,800 per month. This amount is going to go towards your principal and your interest. This amount is going to go towards your property taxes. This amount is going to go to your homeowner's insurance, so the premium for the property. And your mortgage insurance would be about $327,000. Now remember, if you get a conventional loan, that mortgage insurance eventually goes away. So on a property like this, of this value and the amount that you put down, probably in about 9 to 10 years, you get rid of that mortgage insurance, assuming the appreciation is not drastic. Now, if the appreciation of your home, meaning the value of your home, continues to rise pretty quickly, that mortgage insurance goes away much quicker. Now, your homeowner's insurance is factored in here. Technically, it's not included in your mortgage payment, but we like to include it here in our calculator so you have access to this. Now, this max price calculator is linked down below for you to review and check out. So once you get it, make sure that you go to File, make a copy. But of course, the actual creator of this tool is Win the House You Love, which is a really good partner of ours. So if you want to go directly to the website, winthehouseyoulove.com, and get the max price calculator there, I'm not going to be offended. I actually encourage it. But once you do get it, make sure you go to File, make a copy, save it into your Google Drive, and it's yours. Folks, that is how much you need to make in order to buy a house in Murphy, Texas. So you looked at the least expensive to the average price point and into the luxury space. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, our contact information is down below. If you're looking to buy in Murphy, Texas, if you're looking to sell in Murphy, Texas, our contact information is down below. Feel free to schedule a discovery call. Outside of that, talk to you on the next one. Bye.